Well, hi, here we are. It's the Linda Cohn Show. How's everybody doing? It is their debut. Thank you for joining me. Really appreciate those who have already joined my channel, the YouTube channel at Linda Cohn Sports. You shared, you liked, you subscribed. We're going to have so much fun on this new venture, and I'm just so thrilled that you're taking this journey with me. I mean that. I really do. I mean, you saw the hashtag total freedom. That's what I'm going to have. It's my own show. I could do anything I want. So, and I will say anything I want. And I have this whole thing planned out, by the way, after the big thank you to you guys. But this is what's so cool about doing a live show and saying what I want. I mean, like I had breaking news right now. I mean, this is unbelievable. My former employer, ESPN. Apparently, this is not what I was going to lead with, but I'm leading with it. They're going to have a big layoffs as we speak, starting Tuesday, actually. All the reports are the bigger layoffs are happening Tuesday. You know, a lot of changes in this business. Okay. Things going, we don't know the reasons behind it. It's always financial though. And then I just found out like moments before I went on the air here is that my former colleague, and you see him everywhere and you have seen him, past tense, have seen him. Ryan Clark, former Steeler, longtime NFL analyst for ESPN, was let go. And here's the thing. I mean, whether you like him or not, some say he's polarizing. We know why. There's some people that are not fans of Ryan Clark. He's always been great to me. And that's how I judge people, honestly, and how he is with other people of all levels. And he's always been great to those people as well. But anyway, he's been let go. The point is he was let go during NFL Live, the show. He didn't get to finish the show today. That's when he found out. He was informed that he is no longer an employee of ESPN. So that's the kind of stuff you're going to get here, and you're going to get my take right away. And that's an example. And that just happened. So again, thanks everyone for being a part of this. I have so much to talk about. I have so much to say. Why am I doing this? You're probably wondering. After 34 years at ESPN, and by the way, I worked even 10 years before that, various places, radio 7 days a week, places on Long Island and New York City, which I adored and loved. If it wasn't for my radio work, I never would have had the career that I've had and had at ESPN. And now in this, 34 years at ESPN. Yeah, we mutually parted ways. You know, the writing was on the wall after they closed down the LA studio 2 Mays ago. And last year was just like, you know what, I'll hang on and do absolutely nothing and barely get paid by ESPN as I decide what I really want to do. Because no one was going to force me to make a decision right then and there, having to uproot my life or whatever that is. So here I am. And now I have this platform. And again, thank all of you. And that I really appreciated everyone reaching out to me. I made a joke about, thank goodness I'm alive to get all these accolades. You know, we usually always see these positive, you know, hey, great job, Linda, you were amazing, you know, all that stuff. I mean, not everyone loves me, but most people love me. And it was just great to get that. And I can't tell you enough how much I appreciated that and enjoyed the big goodbye that I had at ESPN. And it wasn't the big bosses that gave me the goodbye, although they just probably put a check mark next to it. It was the middle management people, the Johan Castillos, all the producers that I work with, the colleagues that I got to see during my goodbye. So I really appreciated all of them. And that's what made ESPN great, the camaraderie. And that's what I'm going to miss the most, the people. All right, enough about ESPN, because that's in my rearview mirror. Enough about them. All right. That's just another chapter. Now I have this new chapter, and that involves you. And I think it's important to say that because from the beginning of my career, fan connection has always been so important to me. Why? Because I am a fan. You've heard me talk about that so many times. I say it because it's a fact. I love my teams. I love being a sports fan. I respect athletes, and I respect teams and organizations. And it really gives us something to look forward to, which is what I needed as a young kid with low self-esteem. I always needed something to look forward to. I also love music, but we can get into that another time. But this is why I'm doing it. Because people say, why are you doing this? Why aren't you playing tennis 5 days a week? You love playing tennis. You're such a competitor. I will not play pickleball ever. I'm going to keep my slate clean on that. I will never play pickleball. Not because I'm afraid I'm going to get hurt. That's not happening. But it's just dumb. It's ping pong on. I don't know why tennis players invest in pickleball. That really bugs me. But anyway, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to talk to you guys. I wanted to connect. So as we do the show each and every Monday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific, that's when we do it live. Of course, when you subscribe to the Linda Cohn channel, which is Linda Cohn Sports on YouTube, you can see the replays just in case you miss any of my rants or my takes on anything. But you can, at the end of each show, you can do it now, right in the chat box or whatever they call it, write some questions and we'll answer them. I'll answer them later on in the show. We'll pick a few that make sense, nothing weird, and I'll answer those questions. So that's how I want to keep that fan connection because that's really important to me. All right, where do we begin? Well, we already had an unexpected beginning, right? But of course, I want to talk with FIFA World Cup. Now, I'm not going to be a fraud. I'm not a soccer gal, all right? I appreciate those who love the game. I really do. I respect those who love the game. I respect these incredible athletes who play the game. I just can't get into the game. I'm not going to sound like everybody else. I'm not going to do a pile-on situation. I know Argentina didn't have a shot on goal, and I watched for the first 90 minutes of regulation. You know, I'm a hockey gal. I just don't understand that. That's just, there's no flow to the game. They say it's a beautiful game, but until they clean up the embellishments, the stoppages, the clock mismanagement, the adding time, and I don't understand it. I don't care how many analysts explain it to me. I don't understand it. I just don't, this just seems to be theatrical. There's more theatrics than actual game playing. There were moments, obviously we had to wait a long time for those moments. They came at the end and they were something. But let's remember this, the goalkeeper, Martinez, I think his name is, for Argentina was sensational. I think he made like 10 saves. That's kind of a big deal in a World Cup match, especially World Cup final. This could have been a blowout. So it wasn't like, the score was not an indication of the dominance by Spain. Spain just was Spain. I mean, we knew what they were. We found out what they were. I'm not going to dissect it for you. All I know is this. I got a lot of things accomplished during regulation time of this soccer match. I did my laundry. I took out my dog Babs a couple of times. I cleaned out my closet. I'm serious. It was all in the background, the game. I didn't miss anything. The only time I stood in front of that TV was when regulation time ended. Then I was like, okay, but it still wasn't like hockey where it was sudden death. You know, there was just too much minutia. But I'm not going to keep it on the negative. I want to turn to the positive of this. And there's a lot of positive. Let's talk about the FIFA World Cup, this amazing event being in our country, in the United States of America. 39 days. It was a success. Why was it a success? Because what I loved is how it brought, I'm not going to be corny, this is what I saw. This brought the country, this brought the world together. There were so many people who came to our country to watch these matches from all over the world. And let me tell you, they heard horror stories about this country. They heard people are mean here. They heard awful things about the United States of America. But what did they find out? The exact opposite. Sadly, they were believing what their news media outlets in their respective countries were telling them about this country. And then they found out those respective media outlets were wrong. We Americans love our sports. We Americans are passionate about our sports. We as Americans learn to love other sports and be just as passionate. Hey, it was fun for, the U.S. men's national team for a while until they laid an egg against Belgium. We were all in. But then some of us still lingered after the U.S. was eliminated. But the point is, a lot of people who came from other countries to come here to watch the World Cup left to go home, and they had a different perspective, I believe, of this country and the people and Americans that are in it. And that, I think, and that I know, was a positive of having the FIFA World Cup here, at least in the States, and obviously in other places. And, I live in Los Angeles. I used to live in New York, MetLife Stadium, although they call it New York, New Jersey Stadium now. That really threw me off. It's Giant Stadium, actually, really. And then, of course, SoFi Stadium. The people were loving it out here. So it was wonderful. That was what impressed me. I'll tell you another thing I take away from it. After this was over, the 1-0 victory by Spain, congrats to Spain. Seeing Lionel Messi after this ended, so emotional, looking around, tears coming to his eyes, crying, all of us not knowing if this is the last time we're going to see, let's face it, the greatest of all time in this sport, one of the greatest athletes of all time in any sport. Is this it for the 39-year-old Lionel Messi? But watching him get teary-eyed, really, I was blown away by that. And I just want to read you a quote. I don't have the audio, but I just want to, I think it's worth reading, what he said, a lot of things after the loss. But this one really hit me. He goes, sometimes football gives you the perfect ending, and sometimes it gives you a painful chapter. But I learned that greatness is not only measured by lifting trophies, it is also how you stand when your heart is broken. I mean, that resonated with me. And he said what really broke him up, and I think it was the trigger point for him, is when the fans, the Argentina fans, the Argentines that filled that stadium yesterday were chanting his name, how much they love this man and what he has meant to them. But it gets even better. That's not all that had me close to tears. We all heard about the young 19-year-old from Spain, Yamal. We saw that cute picture, by the way, of a young Messi bathing a younger Yamal when he was a toddler. That was a crazy picture. But at the end, Yamal, when he should have been celebrating a lot with his teammates, which he did, he looked over and he saw his idol, Lionel Messi, broken up in tears. And this is what he said post-game. Yamal, he goes, I grew up idolizing Messi, and winning the World Cup should have been the happiest moment of my life. But when I saw Leo standing there after the final whistle, my heart broke for a few seconds. I forgot we were rivals. I just saw the man who made me fall in love with football. So I went up to him because no legend should leave a stage like that feeling alone. That was Yamal, who went over to Messi and gave him a hug. Leo was actually sitting down, just really distraught. And when he saw young Yamal come over to him, he stood up and they embraced. And these are the scenes, these are the moments that I will remember from this World Cup. Bringing the world together over a sporting event, and then these words, these scenes, and there was so many other storylines, but these resonated with me. And that's what, isn't this why we love sports? We don't have to have a dog in the fight to understand why this is so important and so significant, and why the years might go by, the decades might go by, but we still love our sports. And there are always new stories to hang our hats on. And this was something. And I really hope Messi sticks around, because he's something else. It's too bad his team didn't support him. They didn't put him in any position for him to make an impact or make this a game. But congrats to Spain. But here's another takeaway from this whole FIFA World Cup that I want to get into. I want to get into San Francisco 49ers tight end George Kittle. Kudos to George Kittle, one of my favorite players. George Kittle spoke out a few days ago, maybe a week ago, while this thing was going on. And he said, listen, these NFL owners, they're replacing the turf with natural grass in these stadiums for these World Cup players. Why are they doing that? So they won't get hurt. Why are they doing that for NFL players? Why is there a single stadium? And now here's me paraphrasing. Why is there a single stadium with the fake stuff, with the turf, where there's scientific evidence that these players in the NFL have gotten hurt because of the turf and because they don't play on natural grass? And George Kittle was the first to really speak out on it during this World Cup extravaganza. And there are many players that have followed in line with George Kittle who have since spoken up. The Caleb Williams of the world, Patrick Queen. There's so many others, Jonathan Taylor. So many players have spoken up and saying this is not fair. And Tucker Kraft also, Solomon Thomas. I mean, I could go on and on. Laramie Tunsil, all speaking out. And then the NFL Players Association, they spoke out, as they should, to help their players and support their players. I'm going to read you their quote. You see it on the screen from the Players Association. The temporary installation of natural grass field for the World Cup is a choice by certain NFL team owners to do for soccer players what they refuse to do for NFL players. It's no longer a question of capability. The technology exists, the expertise exists, and the resources exist to install the high-level grass fields that our players overwhelmingly prefer. So they used to make an excuse, as George Kittle mentioned, as well as the Players Association, that, oh, it can't be done. It cannot be done. It can be done. It exists. I'm with these players. I'm with the Players Association. I don't care how much money it costs. Don't you want to protect your investment? You know what these players make. I mean, it's not NBA salaries, but it's NFL salaries. It's your quarterbacks. It's your running backs. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm not an NFL owner, but I hope they wake up. Am I holding my breath? I am not holding my breath. But I thought that was important to bring out. All right, as long as we're talking about the NFL, it is always a great time to talk about the NFL. By the way, shout out to my son, Dan, who will be joining the show, not today, but when NFL season starts. He loves the NFL. He will be joining me once a week. We will be breaking down certain things, some hot takes. What Dan has to say will surprise you. He doesn't hold back. But I want to talk about some NFL topics. I'm not going to skim the surface right now, but I want to get your mouth watering, kind of get yourself into it. Training camps are opening. Things are happening. Storylines are taking place. So I thought of a few storylines. I know they're very cliche, but who cares? It's my show. 3 NFL quarterbacks, to me, under the most pressure to go next level this season. Here they are. Number one, I can make number one, 2, and 3, actually, too, because he's the runaway guy that under the most pressure. And the Bills fans, don't kill me. I'm talking about Josh Allen. Josh, there he is. I know he's a great human. I know he's a dad now. I know he's happily married. I know he's got his life together. I know he's a god to the Bills fans. And I understand that. But after watching, and he's the first to admit it, after we all watched what happened last postseason, I'm sorry to bring it up, but I have to. I mean, the runway was clear. It had never been clearer. No shovels needed to remove the snow on the runway in Buffalo for Josh Allen and the Bills to go to a Super Bowl last season. We know why it didn't happen. Josh Allen, I don't know, imploded. I don't want to bring this back, but yeah, the 4 turnovers to Denver, can't get past the divisional game. I'm sorry to bring up these memories, but Bills fans, I mean, do you see this now? I mean, it's always been a Josh Allen love fest because he blows us away with some of these throws. I get it. But, my son Dan calls him a glorified running back at times. You've heard what Cam Newton has said about him. Not that Cam is, the Bible when it comes to NFL quarterbacks, but I see his point. I have a problem because he could have gone to at the very least, gotten to a Super Bowl. I know he won the MVP, so don't get me started with league MVPs. I don't think that matters much to me. Remember, Eli, I'm an Eli Manning gal. Eli doesn't know it, but I love Eli. Eli's my guy because why? He played his best when it mattered most. I didn't care about all the picks he had during the regular season. I don't care about it. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer because of how he played in every postseason and not just beating the Patriots twice and beating the greatest of all time in Tom Brady. One show I'm going to break down how great Eli Manning is and why he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. But let's get back to Josh Allen. Number one, no question about it. This is the time, Josh. And Josh knows it and he realizes it. And I've heard all the excuses. Have we forgotten how good James Cook is? He's got like a elite running back. And I hear from Bills fans, oh, Linda, but the receivers have left a lot to be desired. Elite quarterbacks make those around him better. I'm not comparing Josh Allen to Tom Brady, but look what Tom Brady had to work with. I don't want to hear about Randy Moss. He didn't win a Super Bowl with Randy Moss. I'm talking about, former lacrosse players that Tom Brady won Super Bowls with. Okay. Making Julian Edelman. So great quarterbacks make those around him better. He had many opportunities last year. I'm not dumping on Josh Allen. I'd love to see it happen this year. My sister, my brother-in-law, my nephews, they live in Buffalo. If it's only for them, do it for them. Great restaurant, Salty Chefs. You might want to check it out. So he's number one. Quarterback that really needs to go next level in some capacity. I think he could do it. He's 30 years old now. He's entering his 9th season. We're running out of time. The window is closing. Josh, get it done for the Bills Mafia. I know you can. You can make it happen. All right, number 2, C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud, new haircut and all. C.J., I was rooting for you. The Texans are a fun team. I know they're defensively powerhouse. They are, C.J., if you would have just played, I don't know, maybe mediocre, the Texans could have been in the Super Bowl, not the Patriots. Because of that defense was so damn good. But talk about an implosion. He was a deer in headlights. And I don't know what happened to this guy. It was like co-offensive rookie of the year. His arm is amazing. But then he became this turnover machine in the postseason last year. I don't even know where to start with it. But I think for a guy like C.J. Stroud, you can go from like caretaker to playmaker. I've seen it. You could do both. And really good quarterbacks excel that way. They can be a caretaker, whatever, game manager. I hate that term. Caretaker to playmaker. C.J. Stroud is capable of doing that. We've seen it. I need him to bounce back for the Texans. Don't count out the Texans because of the defense. But man, like the Bills, it was a missed opportunity for the Houston Texans last year because C.J. Stroud could not find a way to maybe commit 3 less turnovers than he did. I don't know. That was a disaster. Number 3 quarterback that this could be out of his control. And I worry about this guy. I'm talking about Cincinnati Bengal, the coolest QB in the league, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, he does love the limelight. We saw him at the FIFA World Cup final. We saw him at a UFC match like a week earlier. He's always where it's happening. Where Bengals fans want him to be is on the field for all 17 games. He gets hurt so much. Remember that old game? And I know this game, Emergency, with the thing you have to press and it would go everything wrong with a guy. I don't know. I can't explain it well, but I just remember the guy's little red nose. It would light up with every injury. I mean, Joe Burrow, we know the list. Knee injury, toe, ankle. I mean, it goes on and on. Every year it's something, but he always comes back. He's won Comeback Player of the Year, not once, but twice, because he gets hurt all the time. He's gone to a Super Bowl. We know it. We know how talented this LSU guy is, Joe Burrow. But it's time for another one of those comebacks because he's coming off that toe thing from last year. He tried coming back. He worked hard to come back, but the Bengals were already out of it. And they could win the division. That division is up for grabs. And with a healthy Joe Burrow, and they need him to be 100% healthy, all 17 games, the Bengals can win that division. And then who knows? Because we don't know what's going to happen in that division with the Steelers, Lamar Jackson. Now, some might say, Linda, why didn't you put Lamar Jackson up there? Well, he's got a new coach. Every year it's a different offensive coordinator, it feels like. Well, I'm a Lamar Jackson fan as well. I could have put him there. I could have tied him with Joe Burrow for we want to see more, but I didn't. I'm going to wait and see with Lamar. There's a lot going on there. At least Joe has the same coach, even though Bengals fans want Zach Taylor out of there. We didn't even get into coaches on the hot seat. All right, enough with the quarterbacks. Let's get into 3 NFL teams I need to see rebound. All right. Kansas City Chiefs, they had a great excuse. The legendary Patrick Mahomes. We know what happened to him in week 15. It was devastating. They lost him. But before he was hurt, it wasn't good. They weren't winning the close games. Nothing was going on with the Chiefs. They were losing the tight games. Mahomes' receivers were dropping his passes. Mahomes was whiny a lot, complaining to the refs. It just was a bad look. I didn't like what was going on. And then karma hit him. And then he got hurt. I mean, it was seriously hurt. The ACL tear. It was frightening to look at. We wish him the best. Everything we hear from Patrick Mahomes and those around him, that he's going to be ready for week number 1. And that is great news, not only for the Chiefs and their fans, but for the NFL and for those around him. But for the Chiefs to rebound, it's not just going to be a healthy Patrick Mahomes. They're going to need another big-time receiver or just at least one other target for Patrick Mahomes. I don't know what the deal is with Rashee Rice. He's a nightmare. What's going on with him? You just Google him. You'll see what I mean. There's some guys out there that the Chiefs can go get. I'm not good with math. I'm not good with the salary cap. I'll tell it to you right now. But Deebo Samuel from Washington, he's available. I like him in a Chiefs uniform. Jordan Addison from the Vikings, he could be available. He'd help Patrick Mahomes and company. What am I going to get from Travis Kelce? I don't know. We know the story with Travis Kelce. Don't get me started on the MSG wedding. I love, anyone who knows me knows how much I love Taylor Swift for her music, for her songwriting, how I resonate with most of her music. I know I should have understood the MSG wedding thing. Not the fact that I wasn't invited. I don't care. But the fact that who she invited. But let's get back to football, because already people are saying, Linda, don't go there. I won't go there unless you want me to, but I won't go there. Travis Kelce, what does he have left? This is going to probably be his last year. I hope he stays healthy. But we can't expect him to rescue the Kansas City Chiefs and rescue Patrick Mahomes when it matters most. So in case you've forgotten, we know about the disaster season that was the Kansas City Chiefs that they had. They need to bounce back. They need to make the playoffs for the good of all of us and for good of NFL fans. They need to bounce back. The Detroit Lions, they need to bounce back. 9-8 last year. Their defense, it was just atrocious, and I'm being kind. They stopped having luck, the Detroit Lions, as we move along. The Detroit Lions stopped having luck. The year before, when everyone thought they were going to a Super Bowl, and then Dan Campbell made one of his questionable decisions, and that didn't happen. And this last year, they were like 2-5 in one-score games. So all the luck they were having 2 years earlier, that ended. So their defense was horrific. Their offense was just okay. Everything went wrong for the Lions. They still finished 9-8, but they were out of the mix. The third team that has to bounce back, the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, is there any way we can stop looking at Patrick Mahomes, please? Because I moved on to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, speaking about horrific defenses, that was a big reason for their downfall. Their offense was great. I think they were 7th in the league in offense, Dak Prescott and company, but their defense was ranked 30th in the league. They only won 7 games. I think they were 7-9-1. We all remember that tie. I certainly do. But they still have one of the greatest kickers in the league in Brandon Aubrey. They got a lot going on. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be back, and I think they can win the division. I'm a Giants fan. It kind of hurts me to say it. I think the Giants are going to make strides, but the Dallas Cowboys need to bounce back. They have a new defensive coordinator. There are changes there, and those are my 3 teams that need to bounce back this season. Chiefs, Lions, Cowboys. You remember when the Dallas Cowboys were called America's team? Yeah, I thought you might. I thought you might. Well, I was teasing we have a new America's team. And the name of that team cannot be found in the NFL. No. The name of that team can be found. Are you sitting down? Are you ready for this? America's team is the Indiana Fever. That's right, the Indiana Fever. You think I'm nuts? No, I'm not. I'll tell you why the Indiana Fever right now is America's team. Let me count the ways. Well, Caitlin Clark, okay? Love her or not, you have to admire her. She's incredible. She just came off this record-setting weekend, back-to-back games, 45 points, 10 assists, the whole thing, this number of steals, 4 steals, 2 blocks, like only 5 players, WNBA and NBA. She's the only WNBA player to do it. She continues to break records, okay? Then she played in the second of a back-to-back. The Fever won again. The Fever is must-see TV. I'll be honest. I'll sit there on my couch. Like I have the YouTube live, whatever it comes up, the channel, not YouTube, but, YouTube, whatever the hell it is. And, they kind of keep track of your viewing. And it seems like the Indiana Fever is always on. And when I know they're on, I'm like, oh, let me check out what's going on. Okay. That's what the Indiana Fever is to a lot of people who cannot name another team in the WNBA. Here's another reason why they're America's team. Not only Caitlin Clark, but Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, of course, Miss Finger Pointing, amazing. Every time I see this pic, I crack up. She goes viral. It's amazing. It's probably one of my favorite memes of all time. She's very likable. After doing back-to-back games, on Friday and Saturday, she was at her camp for like 300 kids, by the way, signing autographs and taking pictures with doing the point with these little kids. Took pictures with every one of the 300 kids at that camp, by the way. Very impressive. But anyway, very likable. People love Sophie. Just seems to say the right things, do the right things. I don't know. But this team is also polarizing. Their coach is not like really great. Her coach, people don't like her coach, Stephanie White, not that great. But the comparisons to the Dallas Cowboys when they were labeled America's team, let me go through it. Both these teams, huge fan base, right? Huge fan base, right? Cowboys have a huge fan base. Indiana Fever, huge fan base. Sell out. They sell out on the road. Forget the home. They definitely sell out at home. They sell out on the road. Cowboys always did that. When they hit the road at their, when they were really good, always sold out road teams, okay? Dallas Cowboys always have a huge group of people rooting against them. Indiana Fever always have a huge group of people rooting against the Fever. They always want them to lose. Polarizing, just like the Dallas Cowboys are. And third, but not least, what the Indiana Fever have in common with the Dallas Cowboys regarding the label of America's team? Simple. They always get national attention, whether it's on ESPN, whether it's on any of the streaming networks or platforms that the WNBA is seen on. They get the most attention. The schedule is kind of coordinated around the Indiana Fever and especially Caitlin Clark. And then this was interesting to me. This came over as we were talking about the Sophie Cunningham pointing thing. The WNBA Players Association came out Monday, today, and they decided this. They came out with a statement that it will not allow partner brands to the WNBA to monetize Sophie Cunningham's viral point, saying, quote, it generally does not feature or look to monetize player conduct from a confrontation between our members. Sophie Cunningham, though, can still independently license this moment of the point. If she hasn't already, I hope Cunningham does that and cashes in and makes tons of money. So Indiana Fever, at the moment, as we speak, They are America's team. Next topic. I'm telling you something. I cannot believe it. My dog Babs is drinking water, so that's my cue to drink water. If you would have told me 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, that Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, the GOAT, the guy who anything that comes out of his mouth, so inspirational, his work ethic, everything that allowed him to put himself in position to win 7 Super Bowls, to end the argument of who was responsible for the New England Patriots dynasty. Was it him or Bill Belichick? Even though Tom never admits it, it was Brady, because he took just 1 year to go to Tampa Bay and win a Super Bowl. That he would want to get involved, not become a manager, not anything like that, but to become involved with the WWE as a combatant, as a fighter. I mean, there's a picture of him looking like The Undertaker. This was at that Fanatics Fest, which was a big success. He is so into this. Somebody should check on him. I don't understand this at all. And then at the Fanatics Fest a few days ago, I'm sure you saw it, I'm sure you heard of it, he gets into it with WWE YouTube influencer, the famous Logan Paul, and he had an altercation with Logan Paul where he slapped Logan Paul at the Fanatics Fest. They were on stage together. I mean, it actually had to be broken up by Karl Anthony Towns, among others. You know, Jalen Brunson was in the crowd watching this. I mean, what's that about? I mean, there you see it now. I mean, it's obviously was staged. And this has been an ongoing series of things with Logan Paul. It started at a Fanatics flag football event back in March. And then this happened a few days ago with the slap. And then at the FIFA World Cup final, they exchanged middle fingers, Logan Paul and Tom Brady. So it's obvious he has made it known. I mean, Tom Brady, he's made no secret of his interest in pursuing a career in the WWE. I think he's waiting for the president of WWE, Nick Khan, if he hasn't already, to contact Tom Brady and see if they can set up something. But my question is, why the hell would he want to do this? No offense to the WWE, no offense to their fans. But everything about Tom Brady to me before this was like, I don't know, the greatest of all time, classy, saying the right things, inspirational. Now all I feel is cringy. So I'm going to bring in my producer who loves the WWE. He handles a couple of podcasts with the WWE. His name is Dominic D'Angelo. And you're going to see Dominic pop up once every blue moon here. And there he is. And
what's up?
What's up? I'm going to ask you because, you know, make it make sense for me, make it make sense for our viewers. What the heck is Tom Brady thinking? And why is this a good thing?
Well, so I don't know exactly what Tom's thinking in regards to doing all of this, but we have seen a lot of celebrities in the past and athletes, even just as this weekend, and you saw it too.
Yeah,
Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns get involved in WWE's Saturday Night's main event at Madison Square Garden. They were used as baby faces, which means good guys in pro wrestling terminology.
Thank you.
Tom Brady, I like Tom Brady, and that's hard for me to say as a Jets fan, but I do like him. But he is a natural bad guy, and a bad guy in wrestling is called a heel. So him going up against Logan Paul in the WWE is already an established heel, and he's part of a faction called the Vision. And they've kind of been a little fractured from a creative standpoint. From behind the scenes, it's not really clicking with fans and stuff like that. So why Tom Brady is doing this, I have no idea. But I do think that WWE should implement him and make him a heel, because he could be a top bad guy for WWE, even if he's not there all the time.
Right.
So Is it good for him to do it? Right now, I love Tom, but he
Yeah.
kind of looks like a dork doing all this too at the same
Yes.
time. You know what I mean? So it is a little polarizing. I can understand casual fans or non-wrestling fans being like,
Yeah.
what the hell are you doing? This is stupid. And pro wrestling fans themselves, they will be automatically against Tom Brady because
Yeah.
he does not fit the bill.
Yeah.
So does it make sense for him to be there in this context right now? No. But if they turn him bad guy and they put him involved in a storyline that's big time, like this Logan Paul thing where him and Logan Paul align because they're both natural bad guys, there could be a lot of money there.
Yeah, but Tom doesn't need money. That's number one.
Right.
I love Tom, and Tom, you're always invited on this program. But there must be a method to the madness, Dominic. And I will trust Tom. But I think if I was advising him, I would say, please don't do this. I mean, don't go all in. I could see you managing a fighter. I could see you, kind of checking it out. I could see you in the front row. I
Right.
could just like celebrity show up for UFC and all of this. And if I was going to guess, I was going to guess more UFC for Tom Brady, not to be in the octagon, but to be more, hands on. But this has come out of nowhere for me. I do think it hurts his legacy. Maybe I'm old fashioned. I'm not even a Patriots fan, as you know. I'm a Giants fan, but I don't know. I think Tom should be in a bubble, but he's changed. And unless his kids are like diehard WWE fans, which I don't think they are, but I don't know for sure, or unless he's doing it to impress his kids, maybe that's all it takes. He's a good dad from everything I've heard, Dominic. So I'm going to give him right now a benefit of the doubt, but I'm going to go on the record and saying, I wish he didn't do it. And, when Logan's brother Jake is telling Tom, look out, your head better be on a swivel, it concerns me because he has a pretty head. I don't want anything ruined to Tom's head. So, and he's got this other job, he has to focus on the NFL. So it's weird. I never saw this coming. I just can't believe this is happening. When I first saw the slap, I really thought it was an AI thing, Dominic. I couldn't believe this was real.
Oh, it's real. Well, not so real, but real enough.
Right. Real in WWE standards, like everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was crazy. So this is a story we will follow and talk about because Tom is going to let us keep talking about it because apparently Tom Brady, he doesn't mind being oversaturated. And it's been nonstop since that Netflix roast of Tom Brady. He's turned into an alien of another sort. Someone has cloned Tom Brady because since that Netflix roast, he is a different human. I'm convinced of it. I'm going to get some scientists to look into this because my head is shaking about this. I just don't want him to ruin his greatness. And that's how I feel about that. All right, Dom, thanks for chiming in. Let's keep this going. All right. It's time for this this part of the program. I like to call it Linda Unleashed. And it's something I saw the other day. I think I saw it on Saturday. And it involves Anthony Rizzo, former Cub great, part of that 2016 championship team of the Cubs. And they were celebrating a 10-year anniversary. And Anthony Rizzo was there at Wrigley Field on Saturday, taking part in that celebration. And then after the celebration, he took his seat in the right field bleachers with his wife and his toddler son. And wouldn't you know, Michael Bush of the Cubs hits a ball into the stands, right field, and Anthony Rizzo ends up with a home run ball while holding his barely 2-year-old son, raises his hand, I got the ball, although he had to dig deep. If you notice, when you first see this video, the kid's head almost bangs into another person who was also grabbing for the ball. And this reminded me of, I'm not going to kill Anthony Rizzo a lot, but I'll tell you why. It still got me a little nudgy about it. I'll tell you why. Because you're holding your kid who's not even 2 years old, maybe a buck and a half, with one hand, and you're digging for the ball on the disgusting ground of the right field bleachers at Wrigley Field looking for this $2 baseball so you can, without hitting your kid's head, raise your hand in delight that you have the ball. It reminded me of my millions of years on SportsCenter doing highlights of men of all ages holding their infant sons or daughters at the game and catching either a foul ball, a home run ball, a ball that bounced into the stands, again, while holding their kid who, oh, by the way, why is a toddler or a kid that's under 2 at a baseball game anyway, where they could be hurt? I know I'm a mom. I know my kids are grown, but I will always be a mom first. And I'm like, when I always did SportsCenter highlights, and of course in SportsCenter, they always showed it, the idiot with a kid in one hand and the ball in the other. Look at this great catch. Oh, my kid. Oh, he's still okay. I would always rip the guy, even if it was a woman, I'd rip the woman. But you didn't see many mothers do this. You saw the dads. I have a problem with it. It's a pet peeve of mine. And then when Anthony Rizzo did this, it triggered something in me that I had to share and put it under the heading Linda Unleashed. So maybe I'm wrong, but this is me. This is the real Linda. I don't like it. It's too dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous. Anthony Rizzo, I love you. You're a great Chicago Cub, but I know you were there with your wife and she was okay with it, and that's okay. But I worry for the kid. The kid almost hit his head, All right. Man, I think I've spoken long enough. So Dominic, we need you back on screen. This is the time I think I remember to promote it at the beginning of the show. I might not have, but I asked people if they wanted to, and we could learn to do this. This is a work in progress. If they had any questions, to write it in the chat box, whatever that is. And then you would look at these questions and read the good ones. First of all, do we have any questions?
Oh, we got some questions for sure. Definitely.
Fantastic.
And some comments.
So already a success.
Yes.
We got questions. So I asked for questions and you guys responded with questions. So there you go. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to let you pick them out, and I want you to read them and who they're from, and I will attempt to answer them. And we don't have to do all of them, whatever you want. I don't even know what time it is. Keep going.
We'll run through a few of them here. We'll start with 5. If we keep going, then we'll keep going. If not, that's how we'll end it. But all right, let's start with a hockey question. One that's close to my heart too, being a Pittsburgh fan and a Pittsburgh Penguins fan.
Love it.
So, and you're known for hockey, Linda. So let's start with this.
We're going to have a lot of hockey on this show as we get close to the season.
Yes.
Don't worry about it.
Richard, thank you for chiming on in. Do the Penguins get Robertson?
Jason Robertson? Mm-hmm. Is that what you said? Is that what you tried to say?
Yep.
Okay. We'll have to get Dominic up on his hockey player.
I got to get a little bit more tuned in.
All right. Okay. It's all right.
Overall.
We'll get you a class later. Yeah. We'll figure it out. It's all right. Get a free pass. Will the Penguins get Jason Robertson? Well, let me tell you, if the Penguins get Jason Robertson, it'll be great. Anything for Sid. That's why I say tagline, hashtag, anything for Sid. Sid has been so loyal to that franchise. It goes without saying. Every time people like me bring up that he should go to another franchise, go to Colorado, play with his buddy Nathan McKinnon, win another cup with him, do that kind of stuff. Sid is like, no way. And if he was talking to me, he'd be like, no way, Linda. I'm not leaving the Penguins high and dry. I'm staying here. Gino's staying. Our guys are staying. Chris Letang is staying. The core is here. All right. They shocked me last year. They made the playoffs. I picked them to beat the Flyers. They let me down. Would the Penguins go after Jason Robertson? I sure hope so. Any team that gets Jason Robertson, it's fantastic. I interviewed Jason a bunch of times. Obviously, he might go back to Dallas. I don't know what the situation is, but the fun part of the hockey right now is the offer sheets and things going on. The big story in the offseason was Anaheim Duck. He's so young, Leo Carlsson. Flyers, Daniel Briere, the GM, offering Leo Carlsson $18 million a year. Ducks were forced to match it. They did it. And Leo Carlsson is making $18 million a year. So guys like Jason Robertson, who's had, multiple 40-goal seasons, whatever it is, I don't have his numbers in front of me, but he's a top tier player. He's looking for big bucks, and which team can afford him. So if the Penguins can pull it off, God bless them. It'd be great. I'd love to see Sid compete again.
Absolutely. And Penguins are under new ownership too. They just got bought out, so you never know
There you
what could
go.
happen. And they seem pretty
Exactly.
gung-ho about doing some big things, so I'm pretty excited for that aspect. And
All right, next.
Next up, we got Rich here. Rick Harris. Thanks for chiming in. Is this the year that Jordan Love becomes elite?
Okay, interesting you brought up Jordan Love. I love Jordan Love, no pun intended. I know people, pile on Jordan Love. They shouldn't. We look at his numbers, they're amazing. He's always in the top 10, sometimes top 5. Last year he was in the top 5 in like major categories. People don't want to see it. I don't know what it is. I'd say he's one of the top 3 underappreciated quarterbacks in the NFL. I will in a future show do a segment on underappreciated quarterbacks in the NFL, and Jordan Love is one of them. He might be the first one that's underappreciated. This is not on him. He's had some issues around him, the people that are on that team. There's some coaching situation there. Bottom line is this: Jordan Love is not your problem, Packer fans. Next.
All right. Let's go with this one. This is a funny one, actually. Dave Felbo, thank you for chiming in. Here's my question. The game that Linda was describing was called Operation.
Thank you.
My question was, how come they didn't give him any anesthesia and knock him out? His eyes were open the whole game. That is kind of disturbing.
What are we talking about? The guy on the game or?
The whole game operation with the guy. His eyes were wide open the whole dang time.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor or a nurse, so I don't have an answer to that. But you
Do
know
you have
what?
a favorite
That's a very deep question. I might have to get back to you on that. I don't know. It still is a successful game. Nothing's perfect. Next question.
All right. This is a comment here from Jim and Coachella. The biggest problem with the Cowboys is the owner. Do you think that's correct?
Listen, the Cowboys, what I like about the Cowboys and why I think they're going to bounce back, I know I kind of just skirted over them. Mainly because, Dom, you had Patrick Mahomes' picture up there way too long.
All right.
I was distracted by Patrick Mahomes when I was talking about the Dallas Cowboys. So I was like, let's get on.
Episode 1. We're episode 1.
All right. I know it's like Rip Dom Day, but I really am not doing that. But it is the truth. Patrick Mahomes was up there too long. Dallas Cowboys, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm really excited for what they've done because they have done so many. Their defense was so awful, but they had one of the best off seasons, one of the best drafts. This is why I think they're going to win the NFC East. They had a better draft than the Eagles. They had a better offseason than the Eagles. I just think they've made all the right improvements on defense. I'm not worried about their offense, not with those guys that they have. So, for Dak to throw to, CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, Pickens just got to get his head in the game. But other than, that being a Steelers, you're a Jets guy, so I don't know. I always forget you're in Pittsburgh. You think you're all the people. Okay. But anyway, I really like the Cowboys this year. And the owner, I can't kill him because he did the right things. Jerry Jones did the right things this offseason. He saw the limitations. He saw where the needs were, and he made fixes. And let's see how it plays out on the field.
Yeah, people criticize him a lot, but I tell you what, when it comes to the draft, he drafts some big name players and they make an impact right on the field, right off the bat a lot of the time. So
yeah. Next.
That's scary. Next up, we got I like this one.
All right. Is this the fifth and final?
Yeah, we can do that. This is it right here. Tom Hellick, thank you for chiming in. Where do you think Connor Hellebuck is going? I'm saying Buffalo. Who's going to be crazy enough to sign Logan Stanley?
Okay, let's just deal with Connor Hellebuck. Okay. Connor Hellebuck, I would love to see him in Buffalo. End of story. The Sabres, so exciting last season. Again, may I mention again my sister Donna, Salty Chef's Restaurant. Big Sabres fans. I want Connor Hellebuck in there. He's just such a great human. Did you know he wrote children's books? People don't know. Yeah. When I got to interview him a few times, we talked about, they wrote a few years ago, I wrote a children's book. Of course, I love goalies because obviously I was a goalie, but he's just a great human and I would love to see him in Buffalo. So that's where I'm hoping he goes. And speaking of goalies and weird situations, I don't know why the Edmonton Oilers didn't go for Connor Hellebuck. Their goalie situation to me is still a mess. Once we get closer to hockey season, I'll go on one of my rants. I mean, Connor McDavid deserves better in all aspects. Speaking of loyalty, I don't know if he's going to be as loyal as Sid has been, because at least the Penguins and throughout the years, the different ownerships and all of that, all they wanted to do was win and did the right things so the Penguins could win as many cups as they did. Connor McDavid is capable of doing that. He's unfortunately with the wrong organization. And until they improve and get better, it's going to be the same old shit. So Connor Hellebuck, finish strong, finish your legacy with the Buffalo Sabres. That's what I hope happens. All right, that's it with the questions. And I appreciate everyone who asked. Unless you see something that's an amazing question you want to get in, Dom. I mean, I think anything else, but I don't want to cut off anyone, but people's time. I appreciate everyone's time doing this. So, maybe let's put a bow on it. Okay. So I want to thank Dom. Thank you for helping me out there. Lovely. Fantastic. Great. Okay.
Happy to be here.
Now, I want to talk about and remind you, if you like what you've seen, if you like what you've heard, I know you hear this crap all the time, but it's coming from me. Share, like, and subscribe. Even if you're new to the YouTube and all that crap, you see the like sign. And if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. It's free. It's free, for goodness sake. Tell your friends too. I really enjoy doing this. I'm doing it Monday and Thursdays, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. If you miss anything, don't worry. Dom is going to have it on a loop, on replay, on my channel, but you have to subscribe to @Linda Cohn Sports on my YouTube channel so you can see the show over and over and over again. Like when you used to watch me do the Sports Center re-airs over and over and over again a million years ago, right? When it was replayed 8 times. You could do this with this. And so Thursday, I will be back on the same platform. So Mondays and Thursdays. And I'm really excited about Thursday because, listen, we love sports so much. There'll always be something else I'm going to talk about and have my takes about. Not only that, I have a guest, and my guest is the great and talented, one of my favorite people. We're buddies, even though we're just always buddies. We're always connected. And Michelle Beadle will join me. Yes, that Michelle Beadle. She is the greatest. She is so much fun. She makes me laugh. She's also a Spurs fan. You know, I'm a Knicks fan. We get into it. We're going to get into everything, all the big topics. I know she loves the WWE, so I'm sure she's going to have something to say on that. And if LeBron still can't figure it out by then, I'm sure she'll have something to say on where LeBron should go. But you never know what comes out of Michelle Beadle's mouth. Talk about expect the unexpected. That's with me. But with her, I think it goes even next level. You just never know. But Michelle, I'm looking forward to that. She will be my guest on Thursday, our next show. So right now, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the debut of the Linda Cohn Show. I appreciate it. I know there's so many other things you could be doing right now. And maybe you were walking the dog when you were listening, or doing the dishes while you were watching, or whatever the heck you were doing. But I really appreciate you. And again, I want to thank you for being a part of the show, because you guys, the fans of sports, supporters of myself, I think that is, for me, the most important thing. And that's why I'm doing this. That's why, that's it. I'm doing it for fun. And thank you for coming along for the ride. And so I'll see you Thursday. Take care.